Grew up in Kitchener, played hockey in Kitchener, played for the Kitchener Rangers when they first moved there from Guelph. That would be 1963. At that point in time, they had a rule: if you played junior A hockey after your 19th birthday, you could not get a scholarship to a U.S. university. So I played 2 years of junior A hockey. Then in the next year, I was pursuing the idea of getting a scholarship. And so I explored it, really didn't know much about it, and make the story short, I got a hockey scholarship to the University of Denver. So I left Kitchener, and then I went out there and played for the University of Denver. We actually won 2 NCAA championships, which was probably my best memories from hockey. But we still have a great group of guys we go out and do alumni events with. And just to mention a couple of the guys that I played with, Keith Magnuson, I don't know if you know him, Craig Patrick, who was general manager of Pittsburgh when they won the Stanley Cup, Cliff Corral, who played 12 years in Chicago. And so we had a number of our guys that played professional hockey, and I was lucky enough to also play professional for 6 years, a couple of years in the National League. So left Kitchener when I was 18, and then I met Carol when I was 18 also, in my grade 12 year. So Carol came down to Denver, which was really neat because she got to experience what I was experiencing in Colorado. And Colorado's beautiful, beautiful state, and we explored the state, and she got to know all the guys in the team and be as part of the winning teams, and yeah, so that was really special. And then I got turned pro, and we traveled various cities in the U.S. And looking back, it's short. You know, your NHL careers, you know, you can't count on any length of time because, you know, you get injuries or whatever, and they can be from 2 years to 20 years, you know, depending on the caliber of the player and the injuries and so on. So I hate to pick on the young people, but I think that was a great time to grow up because we're kicked out the door and go do something, you know. So anyway, my buddy and I he lived right next door, so in the summertime, you had to find something to do, you know, besides the swimming lessons and getting on your bike. So we'd find a good tree and make a tree fort, or we'd scavenge some buggy wheels and figure out how we're going to make a go-kart and how we're going to do the steering and the brakes and, you know, all those things that, you know, I think it's a good opportunity to learn stuff, you know, by doing it. And I did make, you know, I went through high school and took a couple courses in the wood shops, but basically I was more academic, you know, to get, you know, further on. So I went to university on a hockey scholarship and got an engineering degree, but I always liked to work with my hands. And I did a lot with structures and engineering, and so sometimes you're looking at, and they build models, and you think, okay, that's kind of cool. I like the idea of that. And but anyway, one thing leads to another, and when I finished playing hockey, we came back here and we restored this old farmhouse, and Carol and I started talking, and what are we going to do next? And I did explore engineering jobs, but at that point there wasn't anything right around the area that was expanding. There was like one consulting firm in Stratford that, you know, 2 engineers that weren't hiring, and 1 county engineer. And then I could move to London, but we didn't want to move. So long story short, we ended up going into our own business, which we named Miller's Barn, and built on the idea of a country decorating gift shop, and then expanded that to a restaurant and a fabric shop and antiques. And then after a few years, I decided, well, I'd like to, rather than buying, selling antiques, I'd rather build my own things. And that's kind of how it all started. I learned a lot from antiques, taking them apart, restoring them, and didn't know how good I was getting. And then I put some of my pieces in woodworking competitions. Durham had a wood show every year, so I put one of my pieces in there, not unlike that dresser you saw upstairs in the 1 bedroom. And anyway, lo and behold, I got the call, and I got the first prize for reproduction category. So I was over the moon about that, and I thought, well, I guess I'm going to carry on here and keep working away at my abilities. And so I've made a lot of interesting things over the years. People ask me to do different things that I would probably never make if it was up to me. But turns out that I'm glad I did, because it was something different. And I generally don't say no to too many things.